most significant threat is not failing to adopt AI. It is failing to control its costs. Are your businesses capturing genuine transformative value? Or are we simply bankrolling a multi-billion-dollar arms race? Go ahead and identify the top 3 AI cost centers on your current primary cloud, and you will be surprised where the true leaks are. The winners in 2026 will be those who embed this forecasting discipline into every AI initiative. Hello, everyone, and welcome to AI Cloud Essentials, a new podcast brought to you by CoreWeave. I'm your host, Ritu Jyoti, an independent AI Value Strategist and CEO of a stealth AI startup. It's tough to kind of think about it, but with over 25 years of experience across the technology stack, starting as a developer to being a management consultant, I've had a unique vantage point on the industry's evolution. And most recently, I incubated and led the AI automation, data and analytics, market research, and advisory practice at IDC. So I've been thinking about this that the promise of AI is clear, but the price tag and the return on investment are where the reality bites. I'm sure you all have read the recent MIT report and the finding that up to 95% of enterprise AI initiatives fail to deliver a solid ROI has put CFOs on high alert. AI ROI is the constant, non negotiable metric. And that's what frames every C suite conversation, should I say thousands of conversations, that I'm having these days. Having worked with and continuing to work with the brightest minds from end users to investors to technology suppliers, I'm super excited to distill all these cross industry insights for you all today. So, when we were thinking about this pivotal first episode and brainstorming, it was very clear that we were not starting with silicon or software. We're going to start where every serious AI initiative must, and that's the bottom line. No prize for guessing that. So, it's clear that we are past the experimentation phase. AI is no longer a sandbox budget. It's a permanent foundational fixture on your balance sheet. And the financial risk is escalating from a technical issue to a material business threat. So, we are all waiting for the hyperscalers to announce yet another quarter of booming AI growth. And there's a critical question that we all must ask ourselves. Who's truly profiting from this gold rush? Are your businesses capturing genuine transformative value? Or are we simply bankrolling a multi-billion-dollar arms race with your essential IT and innovation budgets? So I have to disclose it to you all. This episode is aptly titled The Hyperscaler Tax: Why Your AI is Bleeding Budget and How Can You Stop It? I love to read. And I was recently reading the 2025 State of AI Cost Governance Research and noticed that there is an alarming cost invisibility. The data is clear and it demands immediate executive attention. Very surprising, the average company is missing its AI cost forecast by over 10%. And nearly one quarter of the companies are missing them by a staggering 50%. Wow. This isn't minor leakage, if I have to say. This is a direct, massive risk to your gross margins as AI spending scales. And what's more interesting is that the cost surface is broader and more diverse than just model tokens. There are unexpected expenses hiding in your data platform usage and critically in the network access to models. And the diversity of all these drivers, they create a profound problem. AI is unfortunately becoming financially invisible and structurally ungovernable. By the way, before I go forward, I wanted to call out that this research was conducted by Maverick in partnership with Benchmark IT, and they analyzed survey data from 372 companies across diverse industries and revenue tiers. So I've been thinking quite a bit. This is the year, this is the time when we are kind of thinking about the next 12 months, 24 months. And as we look forward to 2026, it's clear that the strategic risk has fundamentally shifted. I know I've been shouting from the roof and telling every other organization that you need to accelerate your AI adoption. But it is clear in my mind right now that the most significant threat is not failing to adopt AI, it is failing to control its cost. It seems to me we are caught in a structural misalignment. And there is no doubt in my mind that the vast majority of AI initiatives are built on general purpose cloud infrastructure, which are brilliant for web hosting, but fundamentally not engineered for the unique economics of AI workloads. So I would say it's safe to say that this misalignment creates a hidden, unavoidable drag on your business, a sort of a hyperscaler tax on every initiative you deploy. It's an inefficiency that is actively stunting your innovation velocity and eroding your competitive agility. So let's deconstruct this tax. It comes in three insidious layers. The first one, an obvious one to many of you, inefficient resource mapping. I spend a lot of time with the end users, C suite, and CFOs in particular. They tell me that, you signed up for pay as you go, but then for your bursty AI workloads, that's have become pay too much for idle. A significant source of inefficiency actually stems from the mismatch between what the available cloud instances are and the actual resource needs. I was recently reading a recent blog post from Cloud Zero, and it highlighted that unlike static workloads, AI operations fluctuate unpredictably. No surprise, we all know that. For example, a real time customer service bot, it creates sporadic but intense resource demands. And this variability forces teams to over provision resources just in case. And that leads to idle capacity during off peak periods. Similarly, the Flexera State of Cloud report, for instance, consistently finds the cloud waste is a top concern for businesses due to unused or idle resources. And this is very much aligned with my conversations with the end users on an ongoing basis. It's important to mention that estimated wasted cloud spend is trending downward, which is a good sign. That means people are implementing FinOps practices, making the best usage of the best of breed technology, and it is financially benefiting many organizations, but it's still alarmingly high. So let's think about the second layer. And that's the most important one because it's the infamous data gravity and egress shock. None of us should be surprised by thinking that AI is a data driven science and you have to move massive data sets. The moment you need to move your data out of general purpose cloud, for multi cloud workflows, disaster recovery, or simply migrating off an expensive service, you basically hit the egress toll booth. A survey cited by a recent Crunchbase news article by Claire Budman indicated that more than half of the technology stakeholders would prefer a best of breed provider versus leveraging general purpose cloud. And this is partly to do the massive egress cost concern. I have to share this fantastic data point from the same article, which says that, for example, the average egress fee is 9 cents per gigabyte transferred from storage, regardless of the use case. So, if you're a mid sized company listening to this conversation, moving just about 50 terabyte of monthly between terabytes of data monthly between services, that's an additional 4,500 monthly cost, more than 50,000 annually. Boy, just to use your own data. Because these costs can be difficult to predict, organizations are hesitant to move their data between clouds, and these fees are widely viewed by many in the industry as the mortar that keeps walled gardens together. But before I go further, I do want to share something that I was recently interacting with a major telecommunications organization, and there's no surprise, their pain points are very much in sync with these studies. They were dealing with lack of consistent tagging and cost allocation. They were complaining about over provisioning of expensive GPU resources. And lastly, high data storage and egress costs, moving massive data sets. So now let's get to the third and the final layer of this tax, which is the operational overhead tax. And this is my favorite because I should ask, we can't see anyone right now, but if I had to ask that raise your hand, how many of you love doing the routine mundane work? I'm sure nobody will raise their hand. So how much valuable time are your highly paid forward thinking engineers spending on patching and optimizing and configuring general purpose infrastructure? I mean, that time should be spent on model optimization and driving business value. So, this is really draining every company, every enterprise resource their morale, their motivation, and their value. So, in summary, I have to kind of bring this together from a tax perspective that this is attributed to three important factors. The first one I said, inefficient resource mapping. The second one, my favorite one, data gravity and egress shock. And the last one, the operational overhead. So, just to recap, we talked about the hyperscaler tax, what's really causing it. And I'm now going to jump deep dive into how do you unlock true ROI? Because that is the end of it. That's the North Star that we're all working towards. And I feel very, very blessed. I have to reiterate this because when I kind of work with those clients and customers of mine who are able to move the needle, it gives me sheer joy. So I want to share those insights and give you a playbook that you could embrace in order to kind of get started and accelerate your AI adoption and meaningful realization. So the question is, how do you stop the bleed and finally achieve true ROI? The answer is very, very simple. You have to shift your strategy to specialized AI native clouds, which is designed to support the full life cycle of AI. It's not just about training anymore. We all know that. It's about inference, data movement, continuous iteration, making it fundamentally different from general purpose cloud. So, this is the strategic playbook that I'm going to share with you that your competitors should fear, assuming you're going to embrace it. So it all starts with the first one, that the optimized resource allocation. If you think about the AI native clouds, they're purpose built for the economics of AI. You know, what is the fun in actually investing a technology or aligning a technology to a particular use case if you are just draining the budget and not really realizing the business outcomes that you are kind of going after? So they dynamically provision exactly what's needed, when it's needed, and they often leverage superior infrastructure utilization. I'm sure many of you must have read the Uptime Institute in its journal recently reported that for equivalent high end instances, specialized AI native clouds or new clouds, they can deliver unit costs that are 66% less than the average on demand hyperscaler price. So you stop paying for idle resources. That's the net of it. The next one is tailored hardware and software stack. And I remember I used to work for a hardware company, a storage company, and I was puzzled when I joined that company as to, I come from the software background. Majority of my career had been in the software side. What am I going to do here? But little did I know at that particular point in time, I'm talking about 18 years back, that there was so much power in actually a tailored hardware and software stack. And that is true even today. General purpose clouds, they force you into expensive, complex workarounds. And a specialized cloud gives you pre-optimized stack for eliminating the need for expensive custom solutions. And they deliver performance through a vertically integrated platform. And that is what I was talking about. It unites compute, storage, orchestration, and intelligence into one optimized system. And needless should I say that this is key to realizing reduced operational burden. And the last one, no prize for guessing again, perhaps the most important for you, the budget owner who's listening to me today, is transparent and predictable pricing. Specialized providers, they generally offer simpler, more transparent pricing with fewer hidden costs than the complex variable billing of hyperscalers, ensuring budget predictability for decision makers. So the real world impact is clear. By eliminating the stacks and optimizing your resources, you're basically going to achieve faster iteration cycles. The world has become extremely dynamic. We are learning fast, failing fast, and all of this means quicker time to value and a real competitive edge. So I want to sum it up that AI native clouds, they offer optimized resource allocation, they offer tailored hardware software stack, and transparent and predictable pricing. So these are the three important areas that you should look into as you're looking at your strategic playbook to accelerate your ROI. So I'm sure at this particular point in time, you might be thinking, so what, and what's the call to action here? So let's bring this home. It is very, very clear that accurate forecasting will separate the leaders from laggards. As we noted earlier, with 85% of the organizations Missing AI cost forecast by more than 10%, the winners in 2026 will be those who embed this forecasting discipline into every AI initiative. As I called out earlier, there is a significant percentage of the organizations where the cloud waste has been reduced because of their rigorous FinOps practices. They are making a lot of right moves. So margin pressure isn't optional anymore. And AI's financial impact is already material. Like gross margin reductions of 6 to 15 percentage points are pretty common. And over a quarter of companies see hits of 16 plus points. And I'm sure you all want to be in that corner. So, all the CFOs listening to me today, they must treat AI cost as part of COGS, not just innovation expense. And the hyperscaler tax that I've been talking about here is more than a finance problem. Allowing general purpose infrastructure to dictate your costs leads directly to stalled innovation, reduced competitive agility, and missed ROI targets. So, this isn't just about finance, it's about strategic underperformance. So, your first step is simple but crucial. I've used this with a lot of my clients currently. Go ahead and identify the top 3 AI cost centers on your current primary cloud. And you will be surprised where the true leaks are. This is really fun and insightful. My clients have had an aha moment once they have gone through this exercise. So, next time on the podcast, we are diving deep dive into the purpose built cloud for the AI era. So, if you're listening to me today and you're building the world's most ambitious AI workloads, you really cannot afford to miss the next episode. We'll give you all the details of how to explore a true AI native cloud architecture and also expose the ceilings general purpose clouds impose. But hey, you don't wait. CoreWeave has put together a resource to help you start today. You can go to their website and download CoreWeave's white paper, Purpose Built Cloud for AI at Scale, achieving 20% higher MFU and 10x reliability on 1,000 GPU clusters. I'm sure you had a lot of fun. In closing, I'd like to request you to make the move from budget drain to strategic gain. I was super excited to kick off this pivotal episode, and I'm so looking forward to seeing you next time. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or follow me on Twitter. Till then, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the day.